Hello my friends and welcome. It seems like the war in the Middle East is over, isn't it? Well, this guy did it, at least as he says personally. Yeah, I would also include Trump's prompt action to act with strategic bombers bombing out Iranian facilities. They are no-go for sure, and we may understand it judging on Israeli reaction that definitely they stopped striking Iran, otherwise those aerial attacks would continue. So for the facilities, no-go, Natanz as well. The Iranian nuclear program was stopped with the help of United States of America. But other than that, Donny hesitates to escalate, really. And maybe it's the good thing to do. I also like was the support of the single strike, nothing more. If that strike is successful, Iran would stay without main cards, as Donald Trump would like to say usually. But Donald Trump has started to push also Israel for stopping bombing Iran. Let's check out what he said today to a reporter.
That have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
It's probably the first time, not probably, but the first time the American president said the word fact on purpose towards cameras. Before, there were some of the cases, but not for purpose. Well, it is understandable that he's disappointed a little. He negotiated yesterday with Israel and Iran. Yeah, representatives from United States of America. They knew about Iranian strike on their military bases. Iran warned United States, and Donald Trump even said, "Thank you, Iran, for warning us about your strike, so we did precautions for people not to lose their lives." And yeah, there was the hit actually on United States military base in Iraq. I guess some sort of the radar was destroyed. So actually it was a precise hit done by Iran. It's kind of the rare case that it happened. Later on I'm gonna show you some of the pictures. But the main thing for Donny that the deal was up to break. So Israel, he called, do not drop those bombs. If you do it as a major violation, bring your pilots home now. President of the United States. Later on, he tweeted that Israel is not going to attack Iran after some of the conversation with Netanyahu. Ceasefire is in effect, and we have the confirmation from Israeli side and from Iran that they are ready for at least ceasefire for now. So 12th-day war seems to be over, but yesterday Iran actually violated the agreement between Israel, United States and Iran and the United States, and Iran started attacks on Tel Aviv, and later on Tel Aviv responded. So they were like chasing each other. Who would be the last one to respond or to strike the enemy with missiles? It's like the most intense fight is happening right at the end of the round. Then there is the bell sound. So that bell was Donald Trump, and he was ringing loud out there in Truth Social, his own media. And after all, it looks like Israel was the last to drop some of the bombs or missiles towards Iran, hitting infrastructure of Islamic Revolution Corps, how it's called. It's kind of the strange name, but nevertheless, they annihilated one more commander of regime, and also they hit some of the important facilities in the northern side of Iran. So yeah, this high-rank military officer was captured by Israeli army today. Iran already confirmed the cancellation. His name was Mohammad Adi Yousefand. He was the commander of the intelligence service of Basij wing of Islamic Revolution Corps of Iran Republic. So yeah, he will not go on celebrations today. You may ask, Dennis, what kind of the celebrations out there in Iran by the time they're losing everything, air defense and their military command? Well, they will celebrate their victory. Guys, I'm not joking. They're out there on the streets already celebrating. 6 p.m. local time, they started that celebration, saying that they forced Israel to capitulate. So this is happening, what they show on Iranian TV in Tehran, some of the square, and they celebrate the victory. Strangely, but those guys were not invited to celebrate Iranians' victory over Israel. This is what they tweeted yesterday by the time of the strikes on American bases. Then all of the missiles mainly were intercepted. Just a single missile hit the facility in Iraq, but it wasn't like that even close. There was some sort of the construction like this one. You may see lots of the firefighters here, and they tried to eliminate the fire. I guess it was some sort of the radar there separately staying in the base. Other than that, there were no any sort of the construction damages. So Qatar knew about it, United States knew about it, everyone knew. including Israel. That's why they started to close the airspace before the attack. So it was some sort of the PR strike from Iran. The United States just let it to happen to avoid the huge escalation. For Iranian regime, it is crucial to show their power, their revenge, and how they hit the United States. So they performed this stupid strike. But Donald Trump himself later on said that the response was weak, and we knew about the strike, so he opened all of the cards. And yeah, Iranian regime was really hurt, was not devastated down to ground, but hurt a lot. They're out of their nuclear program, I'm almost sure about it. They're out of their air defense. But Israel, well, I think they were looking for regime change in Iran, but they haven't achieved this goal. They see that there is no like internal boiling happening in Iran, no protests, nothing like that. So Ayatollah may keep its power, and I think it will keep it. After all, Donald Trump is not willing to change Iranian regime. He is afraid of escalation. Well, Donny said that Iran will never rebuild their nuclear facilities. I have huge doubt about it. Maybe with a new force after what happened for those 2 weeks or 12 days, they'll start to rebuild their facilities with more power, with more interest, because they understood that they should obtain nuclear weaponry. Russia is not protecting them. Their air force and air defense is absolute shit. So the only tool how they can respond against the future Israel attacks is nuclear weaponry, unfortunately. So I think that this is a totally wrong participation. Iran will build their nuclear facilities, build, and they will continue to enrich uranium. And Russia may help partially with it, as they did before building those nuclear enrichment facilities in Fordo and Natanz. You may ask Donald Trump why he thinks like that, because I don't have any sort of the logic explanation. Ayatollah is out there, they continue to rule Iran, and they don't want to change anything. Still, they have the main goal to get rid of Israel. It's written in their official constitution, and United States is also their enemy, as they say and proclaim. And yeah, I'm not saying that we should land all of the forces to dismiss Iranian regime, because actually it could bring the new chaos, for example, like it happened in Iraq. But there should be some sort of the solution for that. Maybe not even a military solution, but Ayatollah regime should be pressed hard. I forgot to turn on this light. Meanwhile, oil prices are plunging down because of the weak response from Iran, and because we see the de-escalation of this conflict. I expected it to be like 2-3 weeks, but the end of this conflict happened faster than I thought. Probably Israel didn't want to stop their attacks because the air defense of Iran is paralyzed. It's kaboomed, actually. They want to reach all of their military goals, to behead the military command of Iran completely, but they were stopped actually by United States of America. They understood that probably there could be some of the problems even with military supplies from USA if Israel continued their special military operation, which is a playbook of all of the special military operations out there. Because those heavy losses very far away from your own territory using air force and spy operations, similar to Ukrainian spider web, using drones, using anti-aircraft and other systems to kaput all of the raiders of Iran, their air defense again, I am saying about it. Indeed, it was really the most successful operation for the last decades maybe. And the USA strike, by the way, was successful because still there are professionals working in the United States Army, despite Donald Trump, despite Pete Hegseth. Donny says China now can continue to purchase oil from Iran. Hopefully they will be purchasing plenty from the United States also. It was my great honor to make this happen. For China to purchase the cheap oil from Iran, once again, make China great again. And yeah, as I told you guys, Iran had not even an attempt to block the Hormuz Strait and the way out from the Red Sea using Houthis. Because first of all, it's not profitable for China. China is the customer of Iran, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, UAE, and other countries in the region like Qatar and Bahrain, I guess, as well. Iraq too. So they all need the common access to this Persian Gulf. Yeah, Iranian MPs, they gathered, they voted for the possible blockade of Hormuz, but de facto there were any real attempts to do it. Iran definitely showed its weakness, by the way, Russia too, because Russia supported just morally Iran. Take care, Iran! Despite two of those countries signed a military treaty between each other. Iran in this region is more or less like a lonely wolf with its crazy ideas. And this wolf is bleeding. However, finishing it off may lead to very bad circumstances for hunters. Again, I refer to the possible ground operation. And Don is all the way to the hype. President Trump should get a Nobel Peace Prize. Tweeted by this prick, and Donald Trump retweeted it. Now that we have made peace abroad, we must finish the job here at home by passing the great, big, beautiful bill. Donny, abroad, peace abroad. What's about Ukraine? Is it abroad? Is it outside USA? Come on, it's much bigger war happening compared to the conflict in Middle East. Yeah, the economic circumstances of the Middle East war could be dramatic, but Ukrainian war has long-lasting political circumstances and security ones, especially for Europe and also for United States. But for Donald Trump, Ukrainian war just somewhere there, far away, he is on his hype. But the good thing here that Donny doesn't count Putin as the equal leader, let's say. What he said that Putin called him to be some sort of the mediator, he said that I may help with Iran. And Donny said, no, we don't need any sort of the help with Iran. I need some help with you. Yeah, usually Donny is absolute taka, but sometimes he's not. It's the ChatGPT meme which I made yesterday, so taka, then bomb Iran, change regime, maybe, and then taka again. Do not fire, take your airplanes out from Iran, and so on. And this taka cycle really depends on personality of Donald Trump, his own emotions, nothing more, nothing less. New York Times and other media published the information that Donny made decision to bomb a nuclear infrastructure in Iran based on his own vibe, as they write, not on intelligence information. By the way, Tulsi Gabbard, the head of intelligence, she said that Iran was not enriching uranium. Well, Tulsi Gabbard lied. She works, I think, for Russia. She's like the enemy not just for democratic world, but for USA especially. And appointing her to that position, it is total cringe, and I hope after all of this mess in Middle East, Donald Trump will get rid of her. We saw that Donny could be kind of rough with his pro-Russian community of MAGA. Again, I'm speaking about Tucker Carlson, Tulsi Gabbard, and Major Telerik Green, and many more. So it's one more positivity for us. Iranian regime became weaker, no nuclear program existing. I'm almost sure about it. Russia is not supporting its allies, all of the world saw it, and oil price is going down. Now it's even cheaper than before all of that Middle East conflict started. The only negativity is that Ayatollah regime is still in power. They continue to repress Iranians. Iranians, I would say, suffered the most from all. I was hoping that it's gonna be a change, but unfortunately, no. And if you want to know my opinion on Netanyahu and Israel, well, Israel is a great country, it's democracy, but Netanyahu, I don't like the guy. He is like Donald Trump, maybe, wants to be a dictator there. There are lots of the even criminal cases shadowing over him, and the only thing for him to escape the jail is to continue to stay in power. That's why sometimes, or as usual, I would say, he escalates. He really wants to show that he is there fighting for the country, and what Israel did in Gaza, after all, bombing civilians, it's not a proper way out. Yeah, Hamas is bad. I understand that civilians in Gaza, they elected this Hamas. Hamas took the power. It's absolutely crazy terror regime, which should be gone, but bombing civilian quarrels is not the way out. And I guess that the most of the people would agree with me. I do not support even strikes on Russian civilian infrastructure, despite Russia being direct enemy. I understand that there are civilians living who actually cannot go to the streets now because they will be immediately jailed. So the regime in Russia and Iran, it is equal, I would say. But it doesn't mean that the ground leveling of all of the buildings is a proper idea. No. So yeah, I just hope that this ceasefire or end of war would continue and somehow Iranian regime will be changed. Meanwhile, Air Force One was spotted in Schiphol, Amsterdam airport. I used to fly there many of the times, really enjoy this airport. It's big, but it's very logical. And there will be a NATO summit, and probably Donald Trump will meet with President of Ukraine Zelensky. At least in his interview, Donald Trump said that he might meet Zelensky. Well, at the same time, Russia continued to strike Ukrainian civilians. This is a civilian train which was hit in Dnipropetrovsk region. A missile or bomb hit nearby. I cannot show you insides of the train because it's just a bloody mess there. And for sure, it's a civilian train. We have even videos from inside. This lady was filming the video by the time there was the strike. Why am I saying that it's civilian train? Because Russia, through their sources, they say that it's the military train of the Ukrainian army. They were sending some of the reinforcements. No. They propel those narratives and basically lies through their influencers. Also towards the Western audience for you guys to listen that bullshit. That's why my job here is to tell you truth, the stories as they are. And guys, if you want to support me with this job, please follow me on Patreon. I'm gonna put the link in the video description for my Patreon page. Thank you so much for your awesome support. You just keep me motivated to film more and more of the videos almost every day. Thank you so much for it, and also press the like to this video and subscribe for the channel because that helps to propel this particular video in YouTube algorithms. Guys, you are the best. Alright, finally Europe is awake. They are building a new Iron Curtain with millions of land mines. Yeah, the only way how you can hold Russia or stop it is with lots of the mines, trenches, reservoirs. That's what Ukraine does on front lines now. And also Europe should buy lots of the FPV drones and surveillance drones. Without it, the modern day war is not possible. A nice video published by Ukrainian Air Force. This is F-16 and this is a Shahed drone. You can see, wow, nice. The similar video we saw from Israel. Iran launches those Shahed drones to Israel. The same picture we have over Ukraine. It's fantastic that Ukraine has received F-16s. They're very compact, nimble, mobile airplanes with a variety of weaponry to be used against drones. Fantastic tools to protect skies. Now guys, let's go for updates. Unfortunately for the front lines, Russia has advantage over Ukraine and they gained lots of the ground. Maybe we have this new update after the weekend from Deep State Military Map source. That's why it looks like Russia took... Yeah, they took quite a lot of the ground, I would say. They moved towards Herekivka village, the small one. This is the direction of the Luhansk Oblast, so Luhansk, Donetsk here, and Kharkiv, some sort of this crossroad between those oblasts. If Russia gains this territory, they would occupy all of the Luhansk Oblast. Maybe it is their main goal, like mostly political one, to announce the full occupation of Luhansk. In towards direction for the last couple of days, Russia moved quite a lot. Their main goal is to close this huge pocket between Chasiv Yar, Novolenivka and Toretsk. They do it day by day, propelling slowly, but they do it, and probably till New Year they may advance towards Konstantinovka. The main problem for Russia here is obviously Ukrainian resistance, but also very difficult terrain to advance. There are lakes, rivers, hills, forest lines, forest patches, lots of the stuff. It's not like full throttle through the road and you get to Konstantinovka. No. Every meter of the ground will cause them significant losses. Unlike, for example, over here, still Ukraine defends, but the terrain here is kind of flat with no many tree lines. Also, according to the latest update, Russians advanced towards Holubivka and Radkivka. This is kind of the unexpected Russian movement. Before they tried to go to Kupiansk from the north, but from this area, from Sinkivka, and this is the new vector. They're going from this side of the river. So maybe they created the bridgehead, they sent significant amount of the armed forces here, and now they move towards Kupiansk. So the fights for Kupiansk could be also expected this year. But in Sumy region we have good news. The Russian attack operation went to absolute standstill. For the last week I see that Ukraine started a counteroffensive. Now Ukraine takes the ground here. And according to my information, we're gonna receive some more positive news from Sumy region. So Russia wanted to create some sort of the buffer area for Sumy city. They absolutely out of the tools, resources to take it. But here there could be some of the fights with very limited success for Russia. I would say it's not a huge success occupying those villages at the border. And now they're kind of vulnerable. They're forced to disperse their army elsewhere, supply lines, and Russia is not very good at supplies. Let me show you. This is the water which they forced to drink because they don't have supplies. All of the supplies are being kaboomed and kaputted on the way. So they take the water from here. Oh my god. Yeah, that's a nasty thing. But they're happy, like, oh my god, the water quality is indeed very, very bad. This Russian soldier who was on the front lines, he obtained wounds and now behind the front lines, he tells the things as they are in this short 6-minute video. He says that definitely supplies are absolutely absent. In a best case scenario, there could be some of the drones which drop some of the food, occasionally water. There are many of the Russian soldiers who zero themselves. Evacuation of the wounded personnel is not possible. Russian soldiers who were wounded, their limbs turned black, they are rotted alive, they smell, it is terrible. He tells it's the hell on earth for Russians, and they cannot do anything. Even if they go to toilet, for example, near that range, Ukrainian drone operators are just waiting for them. He also tells about Ukrainian women, he said, somehow, who fly drones, and they're the most evil and out of mercy towards Russian soldiers. Maybe it's like that. So somehow he was lucky to leave that area. He says that it is no go. Here, those Russian soldiers say that they deliver supplies, food and everything to the front lines using those motorcycles. In this video, they say, thank you so much for gathering funds, and we were able to buy these all-road motorcycles. Really fat wheels here, but in most of the cases, they're just being kaputted on the way. So supplies, there are almost no supplies on front line, on the very front line. And let's see what happens to this guy, how they deliver supplies. Supplies delivered. And this is the other case. Oh, swearing. This is the hole from something. Yeah, they try to get water, as you see. Oh my god, what's happening? Yeah, that's Russia. They try to get water, but Ukraine does everything for those supplies not to go there, and yeah, based on reviews, it is terrible for Russians. Even a little behind the front lines, it is terrible. He said, oh, it's terrible here, everyone is falling. We see based on this Bukhanka van and your motorcycle. But nevertheless, you see that Russian soldiers are there, they're on the front lines, volunteers are coming to join the Russian army, mainly because they want to earn funds. They live in poverty back in Russia. If they're outside in Moscow, it is very terrible for almost every Russian family to receive good salary. Plus, they're brainwashed by the Russian TV propaganda saying that Russia is winning, everything is great out there, but de facto, yes, indeed, it's the hell on earth, first of all, for Russians. But even judging on that, I guess Putin will be forced to announce a mobilization. I understand that I was saying about this year that Putin will have to announce it, but it seems like they have enough volunteers for their plans. And it's terrible, actually. It inspires Putin to act more. For example, he started this operation in Sumy because he had enough resources for that. Army men. Yeah, it's the local operation. It's not a full-scale attack towards Sumy. But still, Putin planned it together with the Russian military command. And I tend now to believe that Putin is not willing to stop despite economy problems out there in Russia. You see, Putin used to live during the deficit times of the Soviet Union, then the Soviet Union collapsed. He saw how the things were terrible really in Soviet Union, in post-Soviet Russia. The poverty level was higher than it is right now. So he understands the limit of the Russian society. I would say that the limit is pretty much high. He may proceed no matter what. The main thing for him is to make his close circle rich and happy. I think that it requires much less efforts compared to the rest of the Russian society. And for this reason, guys, unfortunately, I personally expect a very long war in Ukraine, which could last for years. I would say it could last until Putin is in power. There is the probability that the new regime will blame Putin for everything. Even though being the part of this same FSB circle, they might withdraw their forces or at least stop at the current positions and do not demand for Ukraine to surrender its territories, not to join NATO and so on. So there could be some sort of the negotiation at that point. But before that, Putin is determined to occupy Ukraine. We understand it. I showed you tons of the videos of Putin himself saying that. It seems like Donald Trump doesn't understand that, and that's it. Well, we'll see how it goes. I hope that I'm not correct, that the war will be over soon, but yeah, I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, guys, on this note, kind of the pessimistic but realistic, I have to leave you. I already told you the main news, and don't forget to press your huge like to this video and also subscribe for the channel. By doing so, you help me a lot, and I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.